we all make mistakes in life, and I think it's time for them to say, you know what, we've cocked this one up a bit and back down.
We're arresting you on criminal damage, okay?
You'll be out of jail in 20 minutes.
Mr. Clarkson, could I ask you just to calm down? And your continued presence here has constituted a breach of the peace.
I thought farmers drove around in Range Rovers, moaning, until February, and then you all went skiing.
Imagine waking up to find your livelihood threatened by a single government decision. That's the reality for many British farmers facing new inheritance tax changes. Jeremy Clarkson calls it a hammer blow to agriculture. But is he right? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. In this video, we're diving deep into the controversy surrounding these tax reforms. We'll break down the numbers, hear from affected farmers, and see how Clarkson's hands-on experience on Diddley Squat Farm has transformed him into an unlikely champion for rural Britain. Jeremy Clarkson's journey from controversial TV personality to farming advocate is nothing short of remarkable. Once known for his outrageous comments and petrolhead antics on Top Gear, Clarkson has transformed into an unlikely champion for Britain's agricultural community. This shift in public perception isn't just about image rehabilitation. It's rooted in Clarkson's genuine experiences at Diddley Squat Farm.
Morning, Mr. Clarkson.
She was trotting out. Nobody's affected. Rachel Reeves says so. Since when was the BBC the mouthpiece of this infernal government?
Petition that's
exactly.
currently
Your approval
online
ratings have dropped.
1.9 people who want the election to go again.
It's now
Is
over
it 2 million now?
It's now just over 2 million.
The inheritance tax issue threatening family farms has become Clarkson's rallying cry. His hands-on experience managing Diddley Squat has given him unique insight into the challenges farmers face daily. Long hours, unpredictable weather, and financial uncertainties have opened Clarkson's eyes to a world often overlooked by the media and politicians alike. At recent farmer protests, Clarkson's passionate speeches have resonated deeply with rural communities. The government is stopping subsidies and grants, he declared, highlighting the urgent need for policy changes. His celebrity status has amplified these concerns, turning what was once a regional issue into a global conversation about agricultural rights. The numbers are staggering. Over 13,000 people attended demonstrations against the proposed inheritance tax changes. Clarkson's involvement has brought mainstream attention to the harsh realities of farming life, shedding light on an industry that many viewed through rose-tinted glasses of picturesque fields and pretty cows.
And for all the farmers who are stuck at home today, paralysed by a fog of despair over what's been foisted upon them.
I'm not surprised that many of them want a rerun. That isn't how our system works. There would be plenty of people who didn't want us in the first place.
I beg of the government to be big, to accept that this was rushed through, it wasn't thought out, and it's a mistake.
Perhaps most surprising is the support Clarkson has garnered from unexpected quarters. His ability to connect with ordinary people and articulate their concerns has made him a key figure in advocating for agricultural rights. It's a far cry from his days as a lightning rod for controversy on Top Gear. As Clarkson's influence in the farming debate grows, so does the tension between him and political figures. His criticism of Labour leader Keir Starmer has been particularly scathing, with Clarkson labelling him a nightmare for farmers. This conflict underscores a broader disconnect between politicians and rural communities, setting the stage for an increasingly heated debate over the future of British agriculture.
When the U-boats came, we damn nearly starved to death. And I think the pandemic, when it first came and people panic bought and the shelves emptied, and we were starting to think, where's the food going to come from?
Violent disorder, clearly whipped up online, that is also a crime. It's happening on your premises.
I wanted to come along and support farmers.
What happens next if they don't listen across the road?
Well, I've got some ideas.
While politicians debate in Westminster, a different kind of political theatre is unfolding in the English countryside. Jeremy Clarkson's pub, The Farmer's Dog, has become an unlikely battleground in the fight for rural Britain's future. But why has this particular showdown captured the nation's attention? And what does it reveal about the growing divide between urban and rural voters? Clarkson's decision to ban Keir Starmer from his pub isn't just a publicity stunt. It's a bold statement about the perceived disconnect between Labour leadership and rural communities. Clarkson has made it clear Starmer needs to change his attitude towards farmers if he wants to set foot in The Farmer's Dog. The clash between these two figures couldn't be more stark. Clarkson, with his hands-on farming experience, speaks passionately about the challenges faced by rural communities. Starmer, on the other hand, relies on carefully crafted speeches and teleprompters. This difference in approach has led Clarkson to criticize Starmer for not speaking from the heart on rural issues.
It's very difficult to say to a consumer, you must pay more for your food. I don't think anyone would want to do that.
This petition will result in nothing. They've got a huge majority of over 400. Doesn't force them to an election, but does get them a debate.
It's a sniper's rifle. But she's used a blunderbuss and she's hit all this lot. It was, as I understand it, it was a very rushed last-minute decision.
Clarkson's disdain for Starmer's policies is evident in his scathing commentary. He's accused Labour's manifesto of containing just 87 words on farming, which he sarcastically translates as, "We hate you, you meat-eating rural half-wits." This biting criticism resonates with many farmers who feel ignored by mainstream politics. The former Top Gear host hasn't pulled any punches in his assessment of Starmer's leadership. He's labelled the Labour leader a nightmare for farmers and accused him of alienating a significant portion of the population by dismissing concerned citizens as far-right extremists for voicing opinions on issues like immigration. As the tension between Clarkson and Starmer grows, so does public support for the celebrity farmer. Many in the agricultural community see Clarkson as a voice for their frustrations, articulating concerns that have long been overlooked by politicians. This shift in public sentiment is reflected in opinion polls showing growing dissatisfaction with Starmer's handling of agricultural policies. The media has played a significant role in amplifying this conflict. Clarkson's celebrity status and outspoken nature make for attention-grabbing headlines, turning what might have been a local dispute into a national conversation about the future of British farming.
I can get a chicken from abroad. Yeah, you can. But it's so full of chlorine, it tastes like a swimming pool with a beak.
But I do think it would be possible if the government were to back off farming and make us fill in fewer forms and so on.
I will defend our decisions in the budget all day long. I will defend facing up to the harsh light of fiscal reality.
In the midst of this heated debate, Clarkson has strategically wielded statistics to bolster his arguments. He's highlighted that 72% of farms will be unaffected by the inheritance tax changes, while emphasizing the devastating impact on those who will be affected. This nuanced approach has added weight to his advocacy, demonstrating a deeper understanding of the issues at hand. As rumors of Clarkson's arrest begin to circulate, the tension in this rural drama reaches new heights. The very possibility of such an action against a prominent advocate for farmers underscores the deepening divide between urban policymakers and rural communities. It's a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play in this unfolding story of British agriculture's uncertain future. Jeremy Clarkson's unexpected transformation into a farming advocate has undeniably shifted the landscape of British agricultural discourse.
£50 carbon tax on a bag of fertiliser. The basic farm payments altered in such a way that we're getting a lot less than we thought we were going to get.
You want us, the public, to trust you, to like you, to think he's the man for the job, he's doing what he needs to do. Your approval rating is lower than Nigel Farage's right now.
Does it involve spraying some cow on the place?
No, subtler. Subtler.
His celebrity status has thrust rural issues into the national spotlight, forcing politicians and the public alike to confront the challenges facing farmers. Clarkson's hands-on experience at Diddley Squat Farm lends credibility to his arguments, making it difficult for critics to dismiss him as just another celebrity with a cause. The clash between Clarkson and Keir Starmer highlights a broader disconnect between urban policymakers and rural communities. Clarkson's blunt, no-nonsense approach resonates with farmers who feel ignored by mainstream politics. His ability to articulate complex issues in simple terms has made him a powerful voice for those struggling to be heard. However, the impact of celebrity advocacy on political discourse is not without its drawbacks. While Clarkson's involvement has raised awareness, experts warn that it can also lead to oversimplification of complex issues. The nuances of agricultural policy and economic realities risk being lost in the drama of public confrontations and media soundbites. As we look to the future of British agriculture, serious questions remain. Can the voices of ordinary farmers compete with celebrity advocates in shaping policy? Will the heightened attention lead to meaningful change, or will it fade as the media spotlight moves on? The answers to these questions will have profound implications for the future of rural Britain and the food security of the nation as a whole.